The Teeny Tiny Ghost and the Monster by Kay Winters, read by Gina. The lines. Listen up, said the teacher to the teeny tiny class. The Spook and Spirit Club is sponsoring a contest for all the ghosts in our teeny tiny school. A contest? Squeaked the timid teeny tiny ghost. It's a make a monster contest just in time for Halloween. They are looking for a monster that no one has ever seen. And the teeny tiny teacher with a great big grin. Oh, yay, cheered the ghosts in the teeny tiny class. Then they shouted their ideas one by one. A monster that is hairy. One that you'd be scared to meet. A monster that is fierce with fangs and has too many feet. Oh, and one that gobbles girls for breakfast, boys for lunch, and cats for trick-or-treat, added Buster with a big bad grin. Oh no, cried the timid teeny tiny ghost. He sat up very straight in his teeny tiny seat and clutched his teeny tiny black cats. With big black markers and paint as red as blood, the little ghosts in the class began to draw. But the teeny tiny ghost put his teeny tiny head down on his teeny tiny desk. How could he make a monster that was horrible and hairy? Oh, that would be much too scary, like nightmare coming true. What a wimp, whispered Wilma. What a teeny tiny twerp. He's a baby, mocked Buster in a whiny baby voice. Goo, 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 boo, hoo, boo, baby, hoo. And he shot a rubber band at the teeny tiny ghost. Time's up, said the teacher as she put away the paints. Take your monsters home with you and finish them tonight. Tomorrow we will hang them all and give ourselves a fright. Where's yours? Whispered Wilma to the teeny tiny ghost. Didn't do it? Too bad. Bet the teacher will be mad. You're the only one who won't be in the contest. Don't give up. Never quit, said the teeny tiny teacher as she hugged the timid teeny tiny ghost. I know you can do it if you put your mind to it, she whispered in his teeny tiny ear. The teeny tiny ghost sighed a teeny tiny sigh and picked up his two black cats. And then they started flying home over teeny tiny town. But Buster and Wilma flew right behind them, diving in, diving out, up and over, roundabout, till the teeny tiny ghost felt dizzy. Down he flew to the teeny tiny dump and hid underneath an old clock. Soccer practice, shouted Wilma as she looked at her watch. Buster, we'll be late. It's time to go. Bye-bye, baby boo-hoo-hoo, Buster called as they flew, and they zoomed off to the teeny tiny park. Whew, said the teeny tiny ghost. They're gone. And he and his cats looked around. There were raggy, saggy sofas, springs and wires out of place, and a teeny tiny clock with one hand up on its face. There were checkers, but no game boards, no brooms, but lots of mops. There were cages, but no songbirds. There were cartons with no tops. The teeny tiny ghost gave a teeny tiny giggle as he saw what his cats had in mind. Here's a monster in the making. Oh, we can do this after all. The teeny tiny ghost found bits and pieces that he wanted. He stacked them and he packed them in a box without a lid and flew home to his teeny tiny house. All afternoon till the moon rode high, the teeny tiny ghost and his teeny tiny cats worked in his teeny tiny barn. He drilled and they hammered with a rap, 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 and he poked and they pounded with a tap, tap, tap. He twisted and they turned the wires tight in place. Then the teeny tiny ghost finally made his monster's face. On Halloween morning at teeny tiny school, some very scary creatures peered down from the wall. "That's mine," boasted Buster. "It's the meanest one of all." When the teeny tiny ghost and his cats flew in, they pulled and pushed their monster down the hall. Monster bounced on its springs with a bing, bam, boing, and the teeny tiny ghost took a teeny tiny bow. "I made a friendly monster out of parts from the dump. It can stand. It can boing. It makes me laugh." Buster smirked. Wilma, she snickered. And then Buster spoke very softly to the teacher so she wouldn't hear, no one else would hear. "Who ever heard of a monster made of parts from the dump? It wouldn't scare a baby. It's a teeny tiny chump." All morning long, the teeny tiny ghosts wondered who would win the monster contest. They wiggled. They giggled. They couldn't keep still. At recess, the teeny tiny teacher stood guard by the teeny tiny door. No one could peek. At last, she jangled her teeny tiny bell. The teeny tiny ghosts lined up to go inside. Then they marched to the teeny tiny hall. There were bright satin ribbons from the Spook and Spirit Club. Yellow for the monster, whose eyes glared and glittered. Red for the one with the lips that snarled and sneered. But the big blue ribbon, the prize for being best and never seen before, was on the friendly monster's chest. Clap, 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 yay! Sounded up and down the hall. Was some of them clapping from the monsters on the wall? The teeny tiny ghost gave a big thumbs up and beamed at his two black cats. "I knew we could do it if we put our minds to it. And we won the blue ribbon after all."